Before history is written, it's played. Before it's frozen in time, it's fought one shift at a time. Before it's etched in silver, it's carved in ice. What happens next will last forever. The Stanley Cup Final on ABC and ESPN Plus begins Saturday.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
I am Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Soucy.
And we're paranormal specialists who live in the most haunted city on earth, Savannah, Georgia. Every day is Halloween in our line of work, so join us as we spin true tales of haunts, murders, and disturbing Savannah history. I'm Madison.
I'm Chris.
And welcome to the most haunted city on earth. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the most haunted city on earth. My name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Soucy.
And I'm Peach Fuzz.
Not Peach Fuzz. Oh, God.
Gross.
Have you seen Creep? The movie?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm like, ugh. Yeah.
I love Peach Fuzz.
Yeah.
He's like one of my favorites. I love Creep. I love the movie.
It's a great movie.
If you
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
But no one should know. Just no. No.
You don't like the big bad wolf?
No.
He sneak up
No one
behind you with an
like
axe.
these things.
There's the whole thing.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Ain't that damn true?
Duplass Brothers.
Yes.
Ah, love them.
It's great.
Love it.
But yeah, well, welcome, y'all. We are going to be talking about the Sallie House today in Atchison, Kansas.
Atchison, Kansas.
I always want to call it Atkinson's, which is definitely not.
No,
Not it.
that's not it.
It's definitely
not
not
it.
Atchison.
Atchison.
But before we get into that, some announcements. First off, the trailer for our Waverly Hills documentary of our investigation is out now. And so basically, the full-length documentary that Debris has cut up for us is going to be out on May 24th. May 17th, though, if you're a Parajunkie, it's going to be up on Patreon way before the public gets to see it. But the trailer is out, so please go check it out.
Please.
Share it.
Yes.
Go see all the things on it because it is so creepy. You get a taste of Tim, who you'll who you'll get to know pretty well.
Yes.
And
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
Tim, that is the truth.
The nuisance to our existence.
He was really just a jerk.
He was
Annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so mean to Debria, and she will not. She still she talked about it today.
Yeah.
She's like, I hate Tim.
Yeah.
She's like, Waverly Part 2. Let's do it.
she's
I'm
like-
going back.
We'll go back.
And then
I'm
she
going
always
back.
puts up her fist.
She does that. Show what they do. Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to get him. But yeah, Debria has worked really, really hard on this, y'all. So please, when it comes out, go support it. She has really put her foot in it.
Yes, she has.
Yeah.
Her whole foot in it.
Her whole
Well, okay, so if y'all don't know what that means, I'll let you in on the insight. Basically, when JT and I went to New Orleans multiple years ago, we had a tour guide who was giving us a voodoo tour. And, you know, of course, as tour guides do, they ask, like, oh, where are you visiting from? Yada, yada, yada. And we're like, oh, Savannah, Georgia. And he goes, Savannah, Georgia. Y'all have some really good fried chicken. You put your foot in that. And then every time he really liked something, he would say that whatever it was, put its foot in it.
Yes.
And so now, when somebody does something really good, they put their foot in it.
Yeah.
And Debria put her foot in this.
It sounds
Yes.
surprisingly bad when it comes down to it, but
Yes.
it's not. It's meant to be,
endearing.
great.
I will tell you as the director of this film, Debria and I are the only two people who have actually seen. So far, we're on a fine cut. We're not at the final cut yet, but yes, it is fire. It's really, really cool. We capture some evidence, like, for sure, and Tim is a full-blown jerk, but I mean, I just love also the exploration of everything. Like, you know, we use this like super wide lens, and you get like all of it. Like, it is really cool. So like, it's just for 90 minutes just exploring Waverly, like and then just saying just like what happens, which things do happen, like the wind that blew in when the Boo Bear goes as cold, and then all of a sudden the wind just like shoots in. It's crazy. It was fun. It was really cool experience.
It was very cool.
Shout out to Tina, shout out to Waverly, the whole team there. It was awesome.
Yes. And then also, before we get into it, we have started doing a little segment called The Fix that we do for the Parajunkies before we film these episodes. Yep. We live stream with them, and for 15 to 30 minutes or so beforehand, we talk about whatever paranormal topic we would like to talk about.
Or just what we're up to.
We just hang out.
What we're up to.
We all just hang out.
And the Parajunkies sometimes have questions and things like that. So it's a really good time. And if you are into those sort of things, join us over on Patreon.
Yeah, seriously, you won't regret it.
Yes,
we love it. It's fun. It's crazy.
It's very fun. But yeah, let's get into the Sallie House though. So the Sallie House is considered one of the most haunted houses in America.
Oh crap, I got photos. Hold on, let me cue those bad boys up.
We're going to wait for JT to cue his
No,
photos.
For those of you who are only listening,
yeah,
JT's rubbing it in.
Yes, he is. So the Sallie House.
The Hallie House.
The Hallie House?
The Sallie House is located at 508 North 2nd Street in Atchison. It was built in the 1800s, and this mid-century home has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So it is a lot bigger compared to the Conjuring house. Significantly larger.
Everything's larger than Conjuring House.
Yeah. Our studio is bigger than the Conjuring house.
More square feet.
The Conjuring house technically had 3 bedrooms and then a library and a main room and just 1 bathroom and then a very large basement.
Strategically placed walls.
Strategically placed walls.
That's what it had.
That's what it had, yeah. It's just a small box with strategically placed walls.
But it was a 1,200 square foot residence that was originally built for Michael Finney and his family, who were prominent in Atchison, Kansas. And they would live in the home off and on again throughout the generations until 1947. The most notable member, Dr. Charles Finney, was a physician and is believed to have had his practice in the home. 4 members of the Finney family at different times throughout the years died of natural causes in the residence. So, now I will say, creepy, but not uncommon for family homes.
You got to die somewhere.
Yeah, you got to die somewhere. And most people do die in their own homes, luckily. But especially if this family owned this house for multiple generations, not surprising that there were 4 different deaths. But anyways, so over the years, the house has had many various tenants, but it was mostly the experiences of the Pikman family in the early 1990s that would kind of put the Sallie House on the map. They were a young couple who purchased the home and began reporting strange and sometimes violent occurrences in the house that were beyond explanation. And this is where we begin. Now, first off, the name, Sallie. Who is Sallie? Interesting, because it is not the Pikman family. They don't have a Sallie. Sallie is kind of a tall tale, if to a degree.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
Because there isn't really
local legend.
Yeah, it's a local legend. So the house is called the Sallie House, but there is no factual proof that a young girl named Sallie actually lived in the house or died there. So let's just start that. But that doesn't mean that folklore isn't fun. And so
And exists for a reason.
Exactly.
There's a reason why they landed there, but it's not based in anything that is traceable or factual from the point of like records.
Right. But there are multiple local legends about who Sallie might have been. So one of them was that Dr. Charles Finney, the owner of the home at the time, was operating his office out of the first floor and attempted to perform emergency surgery on a little girl, Sallie, which would result in her death. So that's kind of the overarching theme of the story, but there's two kind of differentiating versions. So one being that a woman rushed her ailing 6-year-old daughter to the home after the girl complained of severe abdominal pain.
Abdominable.
The abominable snowman.
When Dr. Charles Finney discovered that the girl's appendix was on the verge of rupturing.
Classic.
He opted to perform surgery on her at his residence and did not even allow time for the anesthetics to take effect before beginning the procedure.
Was this an episode of Little House on the Prairie?
Right? It feels that way.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was just medicine in that time period.
If you played Oregon Trail, you know, if you've got dysentery, you're dead. So.
That is true. No, it's the cholera that always gets you. It's... But the little girl died on the table. In another version of events, it is said that Sallie was born as a result of an affair Dr. Finney was having with a slave housemaid. When the little girl became ill, the mother brought Sallie to her father, who would not allow for the girl to be taken to the hospital for fear that his extramarital activities would be exposed. Instead, he performed the surgery himself, and she died due to the botched procedure. Those who believe that Sallie does haunt the house believe that she perceives male visitors as threats, reminiscent of the doctor who failed to save her, leading to more aggressive encounters with men.
Interesting.
Which is fascinating on multiple regards because, first off, usually malevolent entities always go for women.
Pick on the women. That's very true.
They always go for women. So you know what? I'm glad that the men are finally getting something because... it's not fair. It's not fair, but nonetheless. But the other weird thing is that they're claiming that this little girl is this malevolent entity that is harming grown men, which is weird.
It is weird.
Because if you think about it, so like a lot of people tell these stories in the mindset that ghosts were never people, but that is not the case. A lot of spirits were people at one point. So if you think about a little girl who died from a surgery, when she was alive, she would have been taught that children, for one, are to be seen and
especially
not heard.
In that period, yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So, and then the other thing is that if, you know, especially if she was a child of an extramarital sort of situation, she wouldn't be aggressive towards anybody, in my opinion.
Well, and the concept of aggression, I mean, yes, children can be nightmarish, certainly, but the leaps of conclusions you run to, if she was really that sick, it was likely she didn't understand what was happening, especially if she was 3. Is that one of the stories? Or,
yeah.
You know, if she was very young, putting together that this man botched your surgery is not, you know, it's like I hurt, and then I'm dead. You know, I don't think the narrative works out in the mind of a child of that period. You know, even if it's like the doctor didn't make me better, doesn't necessarily translate into vengeful wrath, you know?
Right. Well, it's like, I'm just like trying to picture that, you know, I've been at least around a few child spirits at this point in my life, and most of them I don't think would have the capacity to understand attacking people.
No, they usually sustain themselves through the use of their imagination as it was when they're alive. If they actually had a cause or a purpose, the frustration of not achieving that purpose would easily dissipate the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So to me, Sallie feels like a scapegoat, but that's just me. Justice for Sallie.
Justice for Sallie.
But nonetheless, so just because it's not confirmed that the story of Sallie actually happened, it still doesn't mean that the Sallie House doesn't have its fair share of dark events. It was discovered in the early 2000s that there was a pentagram drawn on the basement floor of the home, as well as evidence of satanic rituals taking place on the property. Now that sounds a bit more interesting than a little child ghost being like, I'm going to kill you, like Pet Sematary.
I have a photo of the pentagram I'm going to post.
Oh,
I'm gonna
good.
do it now.
Perfect. So there was even a luminal test performed in the home that allegedly highlighted signs of blood splatter in the closet of the master bedroom, as well as satanic sigils on the wall. Now, mind you, not all sigils, before y'all come for me, not all sigils are bad or satanic. I'm fully aware of that. But this is what the news tells you. So everything is going to always point at Satanism, because you have to remember that the Satanic Panic did happen, and it still affects people in their mindsets.
And the interesting thing is the Satanic Panic also led to a lot of people pursuing Satanism or, Satan worship, because they were influenced by how people were reacting. They saw people reacting such a big way. They immediately went out and they got the books, they got their things.
Right.
They started doing, everything they could to be a part of the craze. So it was, even though it was a manufactured dilemma, it did spurn a lot of people into experimenting with it. And the 80s was full of, rebel teens who were trying to prove that they weren't their parents' plaything, and they went that route. They experimented heavily. And when I lived in Kansas, I actually went to a church in Lawrence, Kansas, that was like a ground zero of a satanic cult. And so it was totally, carved with pentagrams and candle wax everywhere. And it was very much this is the remnants of a satanic cult.
So there you go. So it's very possible that there was satanic activity going on there. Very concerning that there was blood splatter discovered in the bedroom. But also a bloody sweater was reportedly found in the attic.
Nope,
which
don't like
is
that.
Concerning as well, because even if it wasn't satanic practices, technically, people could be practicing blood magic, which can get very serious and very tricky very quickly.
Right. Everything gets lumped into satanic or Satan worship, but there's such a wide variety of practices. Blood magic would almost immediately be flagged as Satan worship, which it's not, but it does have a lot of dark connotations because you are opening the flesh to open portals, and that can be very troublesome.
And it's binding, and
binding.
And a lot of times people don't go into it not knowing the possible threats that could be surrounding whatever they are doing.
Right.
So,
People do divorce themselves from the effect because they think that they are in control, but you have to participate at a level that is personal. I was witness to a root doctoring ritual where they were using cornmeal, and they actually had the person who was having the spell made for him eat a pinch of the cornmeal because he had to consume it in order for it to be beneficial to him, but it also immediately tied him to the ritual, to the spell, and to anything that comes after, because it doesn't just work on its own. It has to be connected. It's all connective.
Exactly. So bear all of that in mind. And next comes the Pikman family. So Tony and Debbie Pikman were a young couple that were recently married and pregnant with their first child when they moved into the home in 1992. They believed that this would be the perfect dream home to start their family. as they always do. That's how it always starts. But
The first scene of the movie.
yes. Tony Pikman and his wife had no idea, though, that they were moving into what would turn out to be their worst nightmare. The activity seemed to start around a month after the couple moved in and was far milder than what was to come. In the early days of their time at the house, the couple only recounted small things occurring, such as lights dimming, cold spots, toys playing on their own, and animals acting strangely. Listen to your pets.
Yep.
Honestly, I'll always say that good for two girls, one ghost. They got that right.
Right.
You know, it's if your pets are acting weird and they never act weird or acted weird in the other place you were living in,
Pay attention.
maybe take that as a little bit of a sign. Also, with the other things going on, also if your kids' toys are playing on their own,
Yeah. None of that's good.
it's just creepy. But after the birth of their son, the activity seemed to pick up a bit more, even keeping the baby awake at all hours of the night. In fact, the couple discovered from a neighbor that the nursery lights remained on all throughout the night, even after the Pikmans switched them off so the baby could rest. So the ghost was like, I'm going to pester you. Or was the ghost, or whatever entity this is, purposely using the baby because they knew the parents would be up all night and getting less rest, and they'd be easier to manipulate
Absolutely.
if it's keeping
Also,
a baby up.
The baby's consciousness being not fully formed gives the spirit more flexibility in action. So keeping the baby awake or having the baby agitated definitely gives a spirit more material to work with, more energy to work with, certainly, because small children are still tethered to the other world. And some people say that tether doesn't really even dissolve for 3 to 4 years. And that's why you get lots of stories of young children remembering past lives or talking to angels or things like that. It's because they came through the portal to this world. Where were they before? They still have connection. So yeah, it's very possible that the spirit might have even been trying to use the tether of the child to get back or get through to the other side.
So there was also a strange mold that had begun to form on various household items for unexplained reasons.
Ew.
Which is weird. I don't know why mold seems to happen in these. Now, mind you, some of the reviews do say that the house has a mold issue. So possible that there were little baby spores in the house at this point. Not saying that it's necessarily paranormal, but it is weird. Nonetheless, maybe it had a lot of moisture in the house.
And the question being, what kind of items were getting moldy?
Right. Well, and that is an interesting point,
Because, bathrooms, sure.
Right.
Things in your bathroom, probably. Even the kitchen, sure. But, if it's the baby's room and the corner is getting all moldy, it's like, what's causing that?
Exactly. It's like their wedding photos getting moldy.
Right, exactly. It's like their TV remote's all moldy. Weird. Oh, well, house is moldy. It's like, no, wait.
No, wait. Let's think more about this. And there are certain entities out there that are associated with mold and decay.
Mold is, a decaying demarker, yeah.
But another instance, the couple returned home to find that all the stuffed animals Debbie had organized in the nursery were on the floor forming a circle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got a photo of that too.
Now I want to see it.
I want to see it.
Yes. Ooh.
No. Bad. No. Bad.
I wonder if our dolls will ever do that one day.
No. Bad. No. Jingles?
Jingles is like,
He's the ringleader of all of it. He's got a whole squad now.
He is the ringleader.
Mr. Nope over here seems like he's down for what?
Why is this so low?
What's so low? What happened?
Why is this dagger so low?
I have no clue.
The coconut mask is.
Yeah.
You never know. But anyways.
Anyway.
Jingles.
Angles.
They're
But-
going to be sitting on this table in a circle.
Well, this is actually the perfect table for it.
Yeah, it is.
So-
they could be sitting around the oh hell no button.
Worship the oh hell no button.
Mr. Nope.
Mr. No.
Yeah. But at one point, after a particularly scary evening, the couple decided to spend the night at a family member's house. But just as they were leaving, Tony Pikman began feeling a burning pain on his back, and it was later discovered that he had sustained 3 mysterious scratches down
There it
his
is.
back.
The 3 scratches.
A classic indication.
Yes, of demonic presence.
Yeah, which is important to note. If you ever see somebody get scratched, look how many scratches there are, because if it's 5 scratches, that's usually the sign of a
Disgruntled human.
disgruntled human, because they have 5 fingers. But 3 scratches,
Oftentimes a demon.
yeah.
And not to say that a demon has only 3 fingers. It's the 3 is a symbol of demonic presence. When you hear 3 knocks, 3 beats on a drum, 3 scratches, that is usually a demonic presence, because 3 is a mockery of the Holy Trinity.
And it's interesting, too, that he felt a burning sensation over
yeah.
scratching sensation. Because, when you get scratched, it's usually you don't feel burn first. Another kind of bizarre sign of a more malevolent type entity.
Right.
Which is leading me even further from it being a little girl that died of a botched surgery. But nonetheless.
So Alex said that Jingles is going to take the earrings she sent you and do a seance with them.
No, sure. There you go.
Actually, these are perfect for it.
They are jingle sized.
They are jingle size.
For those of you listening, it's a
So
Ouija
for those
board.
of you who are listening, it's Alex, one of our para junkies, sent me a pair of earrings. That one is a planchette and the other is the Ouija board. So technically, yes, you could hold a whole seance with my earrings. Take that as you will.
Her brain is right between those 2 things.
I'm already a conduit. It's fine. But it's fine. Anyways, shortly after the attack, the Pikmans sought the help of a psychic medium named Barbara Connors, who visited the home in order to get a better idea of what was taking place there. Her conclusion at the time was that a little girl, Sallie, was inhabiting the home and did much of her haunting to get the attention from the family. Now, I'm not saying that Barbara did not communicate with the spirit and it told her this information. But to me, I feel like this is a spirit trying to convince you that it isn't as bad as it is what it actually is.
One of the, it's so complicated. And this comes to like Ouija board use, many seances, things of that nature. Something to keep in mind is malevolent spirits lie.
A lot.
They do not want to share their real name. They do not want you to perceive threat from them. If they do threaten you, those are usually hollow and empty. So in a lot of cases, you have to be more scared of spirits that aren't trying to scare you away than spirits that are trying to scare you away. You have to be a little more on guard with the spirits that are trying to present themselves as harmless, especially in the face of things like scratches and the sensation of malevolent forces versus, but I'm just a little girl who's sad. It's like, yeah, okay. What's with the scratches? Is that how you get attention? Were you taught if somebody's not paying attention, scratch them? Because that's bad parenting.
Mm-hmm. Which is,
although children are terrible, don't get me wrong. There are many children who will scratch you
and bite
to get your attention.
Those are feral children.
I'm not saying that there's not children that will run right up to you and kick you in the shins and be like, ha!
There are plenty of those feral children out there, but it's just like that is kind of a classic choice by malevolent entities to pick a child because people are like, oh, it's just a kid. It's fine. We'll disregard all of this creepy stuff.
And also, when a spiritualist or a medium get really clear communication, the rewards of getting a clear communication oftentimes blur any other thing. Like if you get it really clearly, because you're always under, speculation. Everything you do is being judged, and if something comes through clearly, you're like, I've got the answer. And I think that happened like with the Warrens and Bathsheba.
Right.
I think it was something clear came through, and you can't just ignore it because it was so clear. Because a lot of times it's not clear. Communication is not clear. But if something can clearly lie to you, that means they have a lot more power than not.
But also just eerily reminiscent of any kind of satanic activity too. Sally, this little girl, wouldn't have been putting dolls in a circle.
Right.
To be like, oh,
No.
just like what those people did to bring me here.
Right, exactly. And that's an interesting thing because consider putting those dolls into a circle in hopes of doing what?
Right.
Bringing more through, trying to get out. I don't think it's trying to get out. I think it's trying to build an army. It's trying to open the portal so that there could be more, malevolent forces.
Exactly. So upon Connor's advice, the couple tried their best to embrace Sally as a sort of ghostly daughter.
No, I mean, oh.
So there's a lot of things wrong with that, but let me just finish this real quick so that we can discuss more. Because as time passed, the activity and the attacks on Tony continued. Because when you embrace a spirit and say, you're welcome here, that's giving it power to continue doing whatever it wants in the space.
Yes.
Which clearly, if
You've
it wants...
condoned its behavior, and now it will indulge in it.
Yeah, it's like a cat. When you feed the cat, it stays around. So that is what you're doing by saying, well, they're basically our ghostly daughter, Sally. She just wants parents. She died so young. Well, now you
what's a few scratches among them?
Yeah, well, now you condone Sally to scratch you and bite you for food. So,
Maybe Sally's just a cat.
Not a
Okay. Oh, all right. No.
It's just for JT.
That was This moment was brought to you by
All of our new
Tormenting
listeners
JT.
have no idea what just
This
happened.
is true, but so JT does not particularly enjoy when people make cat noises. So if you want, get on our TikTok and make some cat noises.
Make some cat noises and tag us in it.
Tag JT.
Yeah, there you go. Tag JT in it. So yeah, basically Tony would continue to get attacked continuously. And in one instance, during their child's birthday party at the home, a doll would catch on fire.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
wow.
good. Whenever fire is involved, you know that it's a precocious child.
Precocious.
It is. What it's like, what kind of pyromaniac ghost kid do you think is living in this house? Like,
Yeah.
that's not a child seeking attention, in my opinion. You
Yeah.
can do that by knocking a plate off of
Right.
the counter.
Move the doll. Don't set it on fire.
That seems ridiculous and aggressive and
Dangerous.
Dangerous. Like
You don't want to deal with a spirit that could possibly conceivably set you on fire. I mean, can you imagine being asleep at night and then waking up on fire?
That would suck.
It would suck so much.
And
Suck.
do you think because it was the kid's birthday party that it was the spirit upset that it was not getting the attention?
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, I'm going to light this doll on fire.
Well, that does sound like a childish thing to do.
That does.
Maybe
yeah.
it's a childish
Interesting.
demon.
Could be. Could be.
So, You know, maybe it's a baby demon.
Baby demon.
A baby demon.
Like jingles.
Yes. You know, like the little demons that crawl on the ceiling and stuff like that. You know?
Gotta love the ceiling crawling demons. Ceiling crawling babies.
That would, in my opinion, I think
It would creep me out.
it would make sense.
I would hate to look up and see a baby crawling around on the ceiling.
Exactly. So finally, they were done living in constant fear, and the Pikmans moved out of their home only 2 years after moving in.
Yes, that is the correct answer. No other answers are necessary.
Leave the house
Leave, move, get out.
before it gets you.
Yes, before you wake up on fire.
Exactly. Unlike the Perrin family and the Conjuring house, where they just
Stay for 20 plus years. Yeah.
Which, I mean, maybe you like being haunted. I don't know.
One of our parajunkies said, "I need them to post a clip of their meowing on Shorts or TikTok because that had me wheezing."
But
Is that just like something you post and then people would like stitch to it or something? Or?
maybe.
Sure.
Whatever they want to do with that. We are just here for the consumers.
Yeah.
So
Jabri, if you're editing this, go ahead and make this like a phone video of us meowing and just set it aside.
exactly.
Let's keep going. Shouldn't even brought it up.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's your reaction. You know that,
Yeah.
right?
But in recent years, Debbie Pikman has admitted that she now believes that Sallie was not the spirit of a lonely little girl,
What?
No.
but rather a demon posing as an innocent child in order to gain the trust of the family.
That is the way they do.
I feel like Debbie feels betrayed.
Oh, that
You
it
know-
wasn't Sallie?
Yeah.
How dare you be a demon?
How dare you lie to us?
I gave you cake.
You set the doll on fire.
Yeah, no, don't indulge the demons.
Yeah.
Indulge a little bit.
Well, personally,
No.
Just to get something started.
What? The thing that you start might be you on fire.
I feel like this all could have been avoided if they had disclosed that there was a pentagram on the floor and bloody clothing in the attic during the inspection. Like,
That's true.
Shouldn't that have been
and it should be known
disclosed?
that real estate agents do not have to disclose things like that. You do not. A real estate agent is under no obligation to say, "Oh, by the way, this house is incredibly haunted," unless you live in Savannah, where it's a selling point.
yeah.
There's at least 4 ghosts here.
At least 4 of them. Victorian.
Trust me. Across the street, 1 ghost, a weak ghost, an asthmatic.
It's from the 80s.
Ugh.
Ugh. Old.
We've got a Victorian ghost over here.
Y'all on one today.
Yes. But in modern encounters that people have in the Sallie House, reports of paranormal activity kind of varies inside the house. People do still get physical attacks, including scratches, burns, and other unexplained injuries.
Wow.
I don't like the burns. Burns, because that's a different type of interaction with the physical world.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So, because scratches have a physicality to it, but burns, we're talking chemical reaction. And that is a far more complex series of spiritual occurrences.
Yeah. When preparing for this episode, I read some reviews of the Sallie House on Google, and one of the reviews said 1 star. My whole team and I caught like a throat infection and like their throats were burning the entire time. And I don't know if that was like, I was like in my head, I was like, is that the mold, or is that like something like a demon or
Right.
something like horrifying, you know?
Could be either.
Could be either.
I'm on the side it might be mold. But it's an old building. Nonetheless, though, you take that risk when you signed a waiver.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask. But yeah. Well, also, this spirit clearly has a thing for fire.
Yeah, true.
Which is concerning that burns are a part of it.
Don't like that.
So items are...
But if you go, maybe bring a stack of oily rags. Just kind of set them in the center of the room. Just see,
If it combusts.
See if it combusts. That's something I would do, Chris.
Yes, I'm playing devil's advocate or playing JT.
Yes.
That sounds about right.
But items are frequently reported to move on their own, disappear, or be thrown by unseen forces. A lot of unexplained electrical phenomena, such as lights turning on and off, appliances operating independently, and anomalies appearing on video recordings. There have been encounters that are so severe at times that some believe the hauntings may be demonic in nature and speculate that the Sallie House could be home to a supernatural portal where spirits can enter as they please. But people also have reported seeing full-bodied apparitions, one being that of a young girl, which could be an entity, just knowing the stories that are associated with the house, being like, I'm Sallie. Give me some attention.
And that's not to even suggest there may have been some poor girl who haunts the building but gets a huge bad rap.
That's
There's
true.
a demon like, hey, I'm that little girl over there. Don't worry about it. No, I'm Sallie. I'm a
Don't
little
talk
girl.
to her.
Don't look. It's me, Sallie. You recognize me, don't you? Don't look over there. Look over here. Over here. I'm going to set it on fire.
He became...
Because that's a Kansas accent right there.
That's absolutely the mobster Kansas ghost, but yeah.
Yeah, what do you want? I'm Sallie. Well, how many times do I have to tell you? I'm Sallie. I'm a little girl. Take care of me. Love me. Pay attention to me. Or I'll scratch you or set you on fire.
And there you have it.
There you have it.
So, mysteriously burning candles sometimes occur inside the house.
Okay.
Wait, just candles that are lit? Or the smell of candles? Or?
Like candles that are in the room just light on fire.
So they're like even the spirits are like, oh, the mold is so much. We
I don't know.
Like this candle.
No, this ghost is into fire.
Spontaneous fire is never a good paranormal encounter.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with something normal when fire is involved.
Also, there are traces of burnt fingerprints on them.
Oh, weird.
Hey, what? I'm Sallie.
I'm
Don't mess with
Sallie.
me. I like candles. I like moonlit walks. I'm Sallie.
I have sooty fingers.
My fingers are a little sooty. I gotta admit it. I'm sorry. How do you think I light it? I rub my fingers together.
But also people have heard disembodied voices of women, men, and children at night, as well as scratching on the walls and the sound of furniture being moved around. And there have been some encounters of possessions. But nonetheless, that's the Sallie House for you.
Welcome to the Sallie House, which is it does have like a overnight investigative package thing if you want to seek it out.
Yeah, it's like $150 a person.
Yeah.
To stay overnight.
Yeah, if you're a Kansanian,
Kansanite?
Yeah.
Kansas.
Kansan. You're a Kansan.
Kansan?
Kansan?
Hold
Kansan.
on.
We've got a Kansan.
Yeah.
Kansasian? Kansasian. No, that's a Kardashian.
From
Yeah.
Kansas called?
Kansans, right? Kansans.
They are Kansans.
Yeah.
Kansans. Well, if you're a Kansan that can go to this place,
Wow.
Can.
you can go to this place. Go check it out.
Go check it out.
It seems interesting enough
Wear
to.
flame-resistant clothing.
Apparently, don't wear hairspray. Don't be flammable.
Don't be flammable.
Don't be flammable.
Watch your
Which
eyebrows.
is actually a good rule of thumb at all times. Just don't be flammable.
Don't be flammable.
Because apparently Sallie, the little girl ghost, has a flamethrower and just.
I'm a little girl. I like fire. What do you want? It's just me, fire.
Alex Machado said Mafia Sallie.
Yeah.
My name's Sal Nunzio. Everybody calls me Uncle Sally.
Oh my God. Lord. All right, end this damn episode.
Oh God, this is unhinged.
No.
So if you want to go check that out, let us know. Or if you've been to the Sallie House and you had some compelling evidence, send it over to us. Let us know if you got burned by Sallie. But we'd love to see the birds. But I want to see what it looks like. Is it in a cross, like an upside down cross, or is
It
it?
almost feels like send me your foot pics.
No, we want to feel the burn. But
Oh God.
All right.
But yeah, so with that though, y'all, my name's Madison Timmons.
I'm Sal Nunzio.
Stay spooky, y'all.